Headmistress, if it isn't inappropriate, I have a little gift, seeing as your personal supply ran out a while back.
Ah, the hounds shall lap this stuff right up, I think. I shall safeguard it for them as a treat. And why don't you hold on to this in kind?
Your silver wheel. I can have this?
Oh, come, Melenoi, you need not influence me with such gifts. We have a task. Let us stay focused on it, no?
You have taught me to apply myself to many things at once, Headmistress. Why can't I stay on task while paying my respects? Headmistress, I was wondering if you might accompany me to the springs for a short while, if you're not overly preoccupied.
Well, I do believe I could use a bit of a soak. I've more knots in my back than that tree. Let's be quick about it, then. These waters always seem to do the trick. But this is all right. Thank you for replenishing these waters. One of those details I had been meaning to get to, but alas.
You're very welcome, Headmistress. I appreciate your saying so, as I half thought you would admonish me for using magic and resources on this sort of thing.
Magic mostly is for self-improvement, Melenoi. Not a shortcut, mind you. And if an occasional scalding hot soak in the springs isn't self-improvement, then my concept of it must be very flawed.
I wish I could bring myself to relax. I feel like I'm wasting precious time while I'm here.
Time spent being good to oneself is never wasted. Unless you overthink it overmuch. We are here. Seize the moment ere it passes. A shame we cannot cook indefinitely in those springs, but a brief dip is better than none at all. I do have a bit of a taste for this stuff, I suppose. I once traveled much more often, to places where it is easier to procure. Perhaps you sensed in me some wistfulness about that.
I've learned from you, Headmistress. So, this is just a small token of my gratitude. The Cocytus teems with life there by the riverbank again, Headmistress. Would you please join me for a look?
Very well, why not? I suppose I could use a little walk, and we could use the fish. 'Twas not very long ago that you never would have permitted yourself this type of excursion, nor had the mettle to request that I accompany you.
Headmistress, you're right. I could be hunting for our enemy this very moment, and you've so many responsibilities, yet I'm wasting your time. This was a mistake.
Hold, lest you frighten the river denizens. Only then should my time be wasted here, Melenoi. You mistook the meaning of my words. Your capacity to still your racing mind is not a detriment. It is a growing strength.
I'm surprised you see it that way. Sometimes I feel I'm losing my focus. Why else would I have brought us here?
Perhaps you reasoned that we each need occupy our minds with other matters for a little while. And we are failing at it by continuing to speak. Let us be still together and direct our focus on the waters there. I much prefer to use a spear myself. Be still. Got you. And caught.
sweet victory.
The river always provides, and let no such task ever be beneath us. Whilst I appreciate the gesture and the drink, it is entirely unneeded on your part. Have I not conditioned you to resist the temptations of unspoken contracts such as this?
I know not to expect anything in return, Headmistress. The act of giving needs to be sufficiently rewarding in itself. And please believe me that it is with you.
I've little taste for the traditions of the gods, you know. Lest you forget, I am a Titaness. Or in common with our enemy, I dare say, than with the likes of Zeus and his ilk.
No matter your heritage, Headmistress, you have been a sure and steady guardian of mine throughout my life. A bit of tradition helps express the gratitude I feel.
Tradition is all well and good, lest 'tis followed blindly. Senselessly, I should say, for the blind are often very much aware. But let me not belabor your kind gesture. I am grateful, truly.
I was thinking of putting these purifying salts to use, Headmistress. Call it a cleansing ritual. Would you accompany me?
A visit to the springs ought to rid us of unwanted thoughts for a while. Let us be cleansed together, then. Would that this were all we had to do. We're like two nettles boiling in a cauldron, aren't we?
I remember bathing in this spring when I was very small. You would ask me never to splash your hair, and I would do it anyway. You were so tolerant of me.
Well, now at least you know the reason that your training was so rigorous. There came a point when even my vast tolerance for all your splashing finally wore thin.
Wait, you trained me to the height of my ability as a witch because I got your hair wet?
It was either that or transform you into a newt or something. Come off it, Millenoi. You are entirely too serious sometimes.
A lesson I've been unable to take to heart, Headmistress. I suppose it's been a while since we talked like this.
Yes, well, that's growing up for you. And present circumstances haven't helped either. This blasted hot spring got all covered up with moss and had been stagnant, I don't know how long. Being here again, it takes me back.
Do you think we'll be able to keep the moss from reclaiming this place again?
I'll watch the moss, you watch the splashing. Deal?
Deal.
Much better. Sometimes I think that hot spring could raise the dead. I thought I said you needn't curry favor with me thus. I shall take this bottle nonetheless, if but to penalize you for not offering it up instead to someone more deserving of your affection.
I can think of no one else I would rather have this than you, Headmistress. You've made me the goddess I am, and not a night goes by that I'm not grateful for it.
How often must I say I'm not your mother, Millenoi? You needn't lavish me with such unbridled praise. I raised you to destroy our common foe. You owe no gratitude to me.
You've often said what we intend and what we do are not the same. I know you're not my birth mother, so what? You've cared for me. That's more than enough.
I've used you, and I'm using you still. Can't you see that? I've attempted not to hide this fact from you, yet you turn it aside.
You have raised me in accordance with the promises you made to my father. He never asked you to coddle me, did he? Surely he wanted me to fend for myself.
And do you think you can? You remain under my auspices, take aid from Olympus. You're not as independent as I planned. And furthermore, I've inadvertently caused you to think I've made you better off.
I believe you have. I know no other way. It fills me with sorrow, knowing you feel undeserving of the love I have for you.
Set your sorrow well aside for now. I'll drink your nectar and enjoy it, if you please.
I would.